Welcome everybody to tonight's match for the VSGaming Overwatch League 2019. I will be your host Cloudburst, and joined with me is Trinok Games. How are you doing there, Trinok?
That was the most formal I've ever heard you in my entire life. That was like you put your bow tie on, you're like, I'm good to go. You got the bow tie and I'm gonna be super formal.
I did try, and I think I nailed it.
Yeah, you did a good job. I'm doing good though. How are you doing today, Cloud?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. There we go. Formal is out the window with that one.
I forgot how to word, so the bow tie's off.
You see, as soon as there's a compliment, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know what to say. Oh no. But let's get right into it here. Sentinel 8-bit Oddity versus ATK unIdentified tonight in the Premier League. First map, Nepal. Trinok, give me some of those mouth words.
What kind of mouth words do you want? Because I can say like some long words like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, or I could just say a short word like cat. I don't know. What words are you looking for here, Cloud?
I mean, both of those were absolutely fantastic, but something a little bit about the teams. What do you think's going to happen here? How do you feel things are going to be going down tonight?
All right, well, so unIdentified. Only really one new addition to that team. And they seem to be playing pretty good together. Still, the core is there. I mean, Six holding it all together mostly. Michael taking over as captain hasn't seemed to have affected the team too much. I mean, he's quite a strong player, and I'm sure under his leadership, they will thrive quite nicely. Whereas 8-bit Oddity, a bit more of a new roster. Most of the originals having left, Seraphim no longer there. What was his name? Erexon? No, he played for Prodigy.
Prodigy, yeah.
There he was there, one of their hard carries. He's no longer there as well. So it's a bit of a new team, and I think they are slowly getting back into the swing of things. But it's going to take time because they've lost like two real core members of that entire organization.
Definitely. I mean, at the moment, I would say just based off of placements that we had from the end of last year at Comic-Con, unIdentified coming out third. I mean, that's definitely something to watch here. But not to take much away from the side of 8-bit Oddity.
I'm going to bring up the team sheet. Something that I take for granted casting South Africa is that I know the team so well that I never open the team sheets beforehand. And now I just don't know what I'm talking about.
Does happen. Definitely does. Over here, entering Sanctum on Nepal though. I will be giving you guys a little look-see on this right away.
Yeah, so they got Fakey in as a new DPS to replace, I can't remember his name, who they lost. Mutant Gun's taken over as captain, or Reason and Mutant Gun have taken over as captaincy from Seraphim, who was quite a good tank. No, weird mood, they've put Dobvius on main tank, whereas he used to be more of a DPS player.
That's very true. He was their
fantastic Barra players I've seen.
Yeah, he was their projectile DPS for quite a while. So moving over to the tank position, I mean, I've seen some great things from him so far, and I can only expect better. But we're gonna have to see how he goes out over here against the side of unIdentified, which is quite a solid team at the moment. A little bit of I mean, they did miss out on quite a bit of practice over the holiday season for us here in South Africa, but I don't think that takes much away from what we might be seeing from them coming out of these gates.
I see Dizzy is actually in for Sigs tonight for unIdentified.
Yeah, interesting choice to swap that one over, but looking at the compositions here, both of them opting for the Orisa Hog and working quite nicely. Just a bit of a different style of DPS, and oh my word, I'm outside the map.
That's unfortunate for Shapeshifters. He gets dunked into the abyss. Great start from 8-bit Oddity. They're getting to the point a bit faster has definitely helped them out here.
And it definitely has, although losing a player in Fakey here from Sponge does allow for them to get in. Still contested.
Yeah, unfortunately not able to get any contest, and Chad just moves around the back. Has support on Squishy. Necromonkey, too many angles to really concentrate or hide behind his shield. Gonna be a nice cap for unIdentified.
Quite a solid offense coming in from the side of unIdentified. Quite patient, waiting for 8-bit Oddity to get on the point, waiting for it a little bit longer so that it unlocks, and then making sure that they get the right angles. Just taking down Necromonkey's shield, going into this fight, losing that player so early is not what 8-bit wants right now.
I don't see losing player as a thing any team wants at any stage, let alone right now, Cloud.
Not at all. I mean, holding this choke here, they look like they're at quite the advantageous position, especially where we have Squishy and Sponge both coming up on their ultimates very soon, but a big hook onto Necromonkey.
The fantastic hook, just trying to get in front of the shield. Fortunately, he does manage to back over time. Oh, not. Getting Squishy out of the sky. That's quite a big one. This could be a great opportunity for 8-Bit Oddity to push onto the point. But they seem a little bit hesitant. Reason just gonna try to give them a little bit of speed as they enter the point. Probably gonna be looking to boop Shapeshifter out from behind that shield. And this is a great setup for 8-Bit Oddity. All they have to deal with right now is Shapeshifter. But there's a Bio Grenade that's on, and the barrage is there. Very well timed from them. Good coordination between the Ana and that Pharah. But in the end, Fakey comes out on top, and that's going to be the flip for 8-Bit Oddity.
I mean, 70% just about for the side of unidentified. 8-Bit Oddity and Fakey just finding the right sightlines there, pretty much on 2 HP, probably 1. Still able to pull out the clutch there, but now as unidentified come back into the fight, Dizzy, although he did get halted off of the point in that fight, he can get quite a lot of value off of this now with the nano boost potentially being put onto Chad and utilizing his whole hog to its full potential here.
I wouldn't put a nano on a Roadhog. It's a bit of an odd choice. He has his own healing. He just takes some gas and that's all he needs. Good to go.
Definitely. You'll have to see exactly where they decide to put that one. I mean, as you say, that Sponge also coming up soon, but it's not like we haven't seen Makelele nano boosted before, and that can be exciting as ever. But both sides just poking each other quite slowly here, Tronok.
Yeah, they're just feeling each other out for a bit. I'm sure just waiting, possibly waiting for Sponge. Oh, but there's going to be a Dragon Strike just to try to clear them out of that hold point that they had. They do have a bit too many picks though. Chad finds a hook Reason and take him with him to the grave. Misses that one, leaves Shapeshifter alone on the point. But Sponge now being nanoed up, does have that attack visor. Won't need to use just yet, as he does take out Necromonkey. And then just gets a little bit of help. Still got 3 ultimates on the table for unidentified, but 3 on the side of 8-Bit Oddity for their return attack.
And Makelele filling up that kill feed a bit there, getting those shots and landing them, extremely important on Zenyatta. Just talking about the ultimate usage there, I mean, Makelele has not had to use Trance just yet, and having that tactical visor as well on Sponge sets them up for a very nice defense here, although hopefully Fakey has a way to deal with it, as we do see 8-Bit Oddity moving through the left. Detected though.
That's a very aggressive transcendence from Makelele, just leading his team into that situation. But the sound barrier and meeting up with Coalescence, so lots of support outs being thrown out here. Sponge finally popping that attack visor, is looking to do some damage, but Necromonkey's got a perfectly placed shield, and the rest of 8-Bit Oddity hiding nicely behind that pillar. As they try to make some movements, they need to do something, and they need to do it fast. The overtime is up, and a good barrage from Squishy is just going to seal the coffin. Mutant Gun can't fade his way out of this one, as he is the last remaining member of 8-Bit Oddity on this point, and that might just be it.
Very nice play from the side of unidentified, noticing exactly what their win con is and saving it for the right time. Whenever they had the point, they made sure that they were keeping it in their favor. They weren't allowing 8-Bit Oddity to really capitalize on any of the small bits of advantage that they were able to gain. And I mean, really stealing the show there, but not to take away from 8-Bit Oddity, finding quite a few really nice shots. So we'll have to see what these teams decide to do here, going over to the side of Shrine.
Alright, so Shrine's got a bit of a less space for environmental damage, so I doubt we're going to see that Roadhog. Doubt we're going to see the Orisa either. Both those can be used to great environmental damage abilities, usage. I don't know how you want to put that, Cloud. What's your take on where we're going now?
So, I mean, with the recent nerfs to armor and recent nerfs to defense matrix, recent buffs to Reaper, I would like to see potential utilizations of Reaper, especially in this close combat map that we have on Nepal Shrine. But not to take away that I can highly expect to see goats. I mean, it's not something that's down and out. It's not over just yet. It's still a valuable composition that can work for you. So it's something I definitely expect to see, but I wouldn't be surprised to see potentially a Farm Mercy come out from either side. I mean, could just be a bit of a troll here, but Omega already selecting the Wrecking Ball. He can be utilized very well
I'm
here.
in a weird pause screen. Am I?
No, I'm also paused. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay,
I just happen to have the hero choices already showing up on my side.
You just got some sneaky information that I don't have. I see you, Cloud.
Yeah,
I see you hiding.
you can see how
holding
sneaky
onto
I
your
am.
information like that.
So just with that pause there, Shapeshifter just getting a quick disconnect. Right back into the match though. So,
At least he disconnected end of the round. Doesn't affect any outcharge. Doesn't affect hero resets or positioning. So if you're going to disconnect, that was a good time to do it.
I mean, it's not something you really expect to hear, but you're completely right. If there was ever a time, you got the perfect time to do it. And now, looking at the team compositions that these teams are going for here, Necromonkey over on the Rhine, being matched from Shapeshifter. It's almost as if both sides were expecting some form of goats, and they had their own ways to counter it.
Neither of these is really a goats counter. I think they're both just experimenting with something, not tired of playing the goats. Utilize what you have. You got Squishy, Sponge, great DPS players, as Fakey's a great Widow. Put them on those, see what they can do.
Get into position.
And right now, unidentified need to answer as the point is unlocking.
Well, they do try to answer it as Shapeshifter just goes on forwards with that hammer going. Almost gets charged down by Necromonkey. Squishy pops off though, and that's going to be huge for unidentified as they just find all the right picks. Fakey having too little to no effect with this Widow. Might want to consider switching that one out.
So, interesting one to see here is the way that Sponge just shredded down Reason's shield on the Brigitte and did not allow for any sort of pressure to be applied anywhere onto unidentified. Fakey opting for an interesting duel here against Sponge, but looks like he has to back off.
Yeah, he's got that, almost got the infra side up. Maybe we'll see a change after he pops that one. Just gets a little bit of information going as they try and move around the right hand side here. Just trying to use that high ground to their advantage. Now they dip down.
Oh, wow.
Not able to get his shield up in time, and that's going to cost him his life. Not does manage to get Shapeshifter out of that situation, but at this point, it's a lost battle. You've lost too many. You've lost that main tank, your supports, and Not does go down in the end. Fakey trying to be sneaky with this Widow just on the side here. Still not having as much as effect as he should.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. I mean, you need to be able to recognize when you aren't providing the value that your team needs. And it looks like they're struggling a bit to really find that.
It looks like that they are trying their best, though, to get onto this point. And there we go, throwing out something else. That's going to be a great Dragon Strike as it gets 2k. 8-bit Oddity can now approach this point and possibly get the flip. Sponge with attack visor of his own did get 2, but this was not enough to hold 8-bit Oddity.
Yeah, so 67% over onto the side of unidentified. Ultimates coming up very soon. Transcendence on the defensive side. However, on the offensive side, we do have the Junkrat Riptire as well as the Nano Boost, which can be used very well. I mean, pretty much most of their characters on their team composition can actually take that and utilize it properly. But I mean, having a minefield from Omega as he picks up Makelele, this could be spelling doom for the side of unidentified as they try to cap this one back, Tronok.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate one, losing the aggressive Zenyatta so early on. And he does have that Transcendence available. No real need to use it though, given Oddity's composition, as Omega just swings through, knocks Shapeshifter back. And unID just, like they're just waiting for Michael Elliott this way to move on.
Wow.
With that sneaky Earthshatter from behind. Gets rid of Dizzy, so that Nano Boost no longer there. Sponge goes down, unidentified, going to have to reset.
So, over there from Necromonkey, I mean, a solo shatter to take down Dizzy on the Honor, he didn't even need to do that. I mean, Dizzy was already on about 1 HP, he could have just swung his hammer, so a bit of a waste, but I can see where he was going with it in case there was any form of quick healing that would have been placed on them. I mean, they don't have the Brigitte anymore, so they wouldn't have been able to do that. But a bit of a waste of shatter not having that into the next fight and having 4 ultimates up on the side of unidentified. They need to start running scared.
Ooh, this could be a great Riptide from Squishy, and he does manage to get Necro Monkey out. The big man with the shield and the hammer no longer there. Their flip is on. Only managed to be held by Reason. Eventually Omega gets in to support him, but Shapeshift does not two-face. Mike Lady comes in with a clutch transcend and sound barrier out for 8-bit Oddity though. Does mean they have a little bit of extra army, and Fakey does pop off getting rid of Sponge. At this point, you really need to deal with Omega, who's just happily swinging around the point and having the best of times right now. This Necro Monkey tries to get rid of Chad. He has been nano boosted though and has that extra health that a scary nano booster Zarya can have. But at this point, unidentified, just unable to find any real traction in this team fight. Oh, but Squishy changes that, as I mentioned it. The Dragon Strike possibly just a last-ditch effort to save this point. It's just Necro, not an Omega left to defend it out. And now all you have to deal with is that very annoying Wrecking Ball, and the flip is yours.
So in that fight there...
I don't know who I ended up being.
So interesting one in the fight there was the way that Omega was just spinning around, not really utilizing its pile driver into the backline enough, giving so much value over to Dizzy and Michaelele, especially with Michaelele switching over to the Lucio so you can get the AoE healing as well as the speed boost to make sure that the point wasn't gone and out. But entering this next fight now, we do need to watch out because Omega does have that once again as he uses the minefield.
Yeah, he's making good value out of this minefield, definitely trying to deny as much space as possible, but Squishy ready up. Oh, that's unfortunate. Not just managing to read exactly where that tower was going, so no effect there. And 8-bit Oddity end up on an out advantage with the hammer and the dragon combo, just proving too much for unidentified here. Chad not going to stay alive for too long, and this is probably going to go to 8-bit Oddity in the end.
Very good showing there. I like the combos that they wanted to utilize there. They orchestrated it very cleanly. And although unidentified did also get to 99%, 8-bit Oddity are giving them a run for their money right now.
I think that the composition of 8-bit Oddity confused unidentified a little bit, and there was no willingness to change on unidentified side. I spoke about Fakey not really having any value, and he still didn't at the end there, but it didn't really matter because unidentified weren't dealing with him and weren't dealing with what they were faced with. So I mean, it comes down to the adaptability too when you see a weird composition being played against you.
Definitely, and also just following up on that, I mean, Fakey managing to pick up that tire as well, kind of turning the tide of the fight completely, not able to get any value from Squishy. So it was a bit important, but I mean, could have been any hero to do that, possibly a McCree or such. But let's get right into this as we do see GOAT compositions coming out here from the side of unidentified.
Oh well, 8-bit Oddity playing the OG GOATs, got that. Oh no, that's Hanzo. So they both got a GOATs variant with the DPS. The Mei GOATs a bit more common than the Hanzo GOATs, of course.
Yeah, Hanzo Tracer, they want an all-round composition. Necromonkey trying to find the right target, but having to back off to the point. Contesting already happening.
Well, it's going to be a hard fight for 8-bit Oddity, given the healing on unidentified side as they enter this point. Ooh, Squishy, we're using this Mei well, just freezing out those tanks, making sure they have no value, and Necro just hiding in the corner. Beautiful wall stops that coalescence from being able to keep Necro Monkey alive, but he doesn't manage to charge out of a sticky situation. However, they're going to have to back off here as unidentified swarm around them, the Zerg proving a bit too strong.
So looking at what unidentified brings to the table here, that Mei over on Nepal Village is just too good to pass up on. And now actually quite a big stagger happening to 8-bit Oddity. They're pumping in quite a bit of damage, but they're not going to be able to take the point, as we do still have 5 players on the side of unidentified alive and on the point. They just need to get their diva back in the mech and Chad. Hopefully he can do so, as Fakey trying to throw something from above, but they don't really have anything to deal with that. Oh, as I say that, Michaelele landing shots.
I mean, you've got a Zenyatta of Michaelele caliber. He can hit those shots on the Pharah if he needs to, and that Discord Orb definitely going to help him out.
Oh, wow!
A beautiful Earth Shatter from behind. Michaelele with the Crush Transcendence keeps them alive. Now there's the entry with the self-destruct, just going to clear out the payload point. So then 8-bit Oddity cannot get that frag, but not takes care of the danger of Michaelele. And now it's just a frantic scrap to see who will end up with the point. The sound barrier of Dizzy definitely keeping them alive, and Fakey with a beautiful barrage make sure that 8-Bit Oddity still have a leg in this fight, as they just go balls to the wall and just hammering left, right, and center, and that's going to be it. 8-Bit Oddity will get the flip.
So on the side of unIdentified, not able to focus down the key target at the start of that fight. The Necromonkey left alive for far too long, and unIdentified's healing is a lot more than that of 8-Bit Oddity, with having one more support hero choice here from the composition. But now swapping off the Mei for the Widowmaker, hoping to get the early picks. They need to make sure that Fakey's taken out of the sky, because that Rocket Barrage did far too much for them in the previous fight. But looks like Fakey's still doing a lot of work.
Yeah, Squishy definitely out there to try to deal with Fakey. Beautiful grab from Omega, just gonna clean up unID's attack, and that was stopped before it even started.
So 8-Bit Oddity, once they have the point, it seems quite difficult to get it back from them. They're playing a bit of a keepsies game here. This point is mine. You cannot contest.
They still have the outer barges as well. They only expended one out in that, and it was beautifully timed at that. You are going to have the self-destruct of unIdentified though, with the Earthshatter, and of course Sponge with the rally if needed. And there we go. The rally does come out. 30 seconds now to engage it. Oh, beautiful coalescence. Dragon Strike through. 8-Bit Oddity really using their ultimates well here, but it's not going to matter in the end if you give Squishy a bit too much space and he finds the heads of all the right players to hit.
Squishy showing up for reals here. He must be feeling so good after that bout. But I have to give it to Shapeshifter. That shadow completely opened up all the space that Squishy needed to pop off like that. And sights on Squishy as well.
Okay, this is unIdentified, so
oh wow.
You look to retake this point in this overtime, but Necromonkey going down is not what you need. The self-destruct of Chad, not going to find anyone, but it is going to scatter up 8-Bit Oddity enough for Shapeshifter to have some value with that hammer, and he's just going to swing it around. Michael Lady finds Meat and Gun, the supports are out, and this is all but one for unIdentified.
Unidentified once again looking very strong in Nepal. I've said it once before, I guess I can say it again. A few shaky moments, not getting the right target, but Shapeshifter playing quite a bit of a core to their success in the amount of space that he opens up for the rest of the team. We do know that their DPS duo in Sponge and Squishy are extremely strong and well deserved to them, but 8-Bit Oddity putting up one hell of a fight. Can't take that away from them at all. There were many moments there that I thought they had it, just not quite there in the end.
Yeah, they were looking strong. I think not being able to deal with the more tank-heavy composition that unIdentified brought out in that final round was a hindrance to them, and possibly... You know what's interesting about South African Overwatch is you don't see goats as much. You watch international, it's mostly goats or quad DPS depending on map if you're on Route 66 to try to deal with the goats, but in general you're just seeing Zenyatta goats being run quite a lot. In South Africa, I just love the fact that everyone's willing to try something unique, something different, and something that might not necessarily work. And in this case, 8-Bit Oddity's comp might not have been the best one to deal with unIdentified.
I mean, I wonder what they could have done a bit better there. I mean, I don't think they had an honor there. I think an honor nade would have really dismantled them, because one of the big things that unIdentified had that favored them in those fights was the amount of sustain, and not having that sustain on your side is a massive hindrance. You need to be able to break through it, and potentially a way to get to Michaelele in the back. He was dealing a lot of damage in that fight. I wish we had stats available so I could actually show you how much he was doing, because even those small incremental amounts of damage that you get just from his left click attack, it adds up extremely quickly, and it once again opens up space. I mean, I think that's something that unIdentified is very good at doing. Everyone on their team opens up space for Sponge and Squishy to go forward, and they kind of build around that. I like that playstyle.
That's something that's the essence of a good team play, is everyone just working to a common objective to create space to make it so that you can take the objective, in this case a control point, or in Route 66 case a payload.
Yeah, moving over to our escort portion. Escort, not escort. What is escort? That's like a e-discord. Okay, escort side of the maps. Route 66 is where we're going to be heading as of choice for 8-bit Oddity. Just waiting for the teams to ready up here, and then we should be good to go.
All right, so Route 66 Cloud, break it down for me. What do you expect to see these two teams bring to the party?
Honestly, with Fakey on the Pharah, I expect to see more Pharah from him, especially on attack, not as much on defense. We're going to see defense Widow and Fakey, and potentially a bit of a build around that. Unidentified, we've seen it before. I do not doubt for 1 second that we won't see it again. Is the side of some Bastion, potentially some Torbjorn, a little bit of pirate ship happening there.
You think we are going to see a pirate ship in this meta?
I would not be surprised, not for a second. Not for a single second.
I honestly can't even say what you usually see on this map, because usually you do see the Maygoats and you do see the quad DPS to deal with the Maygoats. But I wouldn't say that with a South African team, because these guys are just going to bring something crazy out.
Yeah, let's see how crazy they go for here. I mean, looking at the defense, as I did call, Fakey over on the Widow. Interesting support lineup. Reason over on the Moira with Mutant Gun on the Mei. I mean, Mercy, what am I saying? Mixing up the M's. Why are there so many? Mercy over on the Mei. Mutant Gun over on the Mercy. Something he's going to be able to do here is damage boost Fakey, which really helps a lot. Or not for that matter. They're going to be able to potentially get some early picks. And now aware of the situation that they're dealing with in the Sombra Genji dive from Unidentified.
I'm curious to see if Sponge is going to scout it out, and then if Unidentified changes once he gets the information. But given their aggressiveness, this is just a straight up Sombra dive, like you said.
Yeah, so Sponge opting to go quite far around. Needs to make sure that they're choosing the right target so that Shapeshifter can dive in with him.
He's definitely going to be looking for Mutant Gun, I would say. Although Squishy taking out Fakey very early on in this fight does give Unidentified a good chance to just push underneath the girls.
Yeah, having Fakey go down so early, Mutant Gun not getting the resin either.
And there was the hack. Cloud. Sponge did beautifully there, took out the main support, and the rest of the team are just going to fall behind their fearless co-captain. Reason not going to be able to stay alive either, and that's going to be it, as you see Squishy just going to try hunt down Fakey here.
I must say, that was so well coordinated from Unidentified. And that's why they deserve to win that fight there. So, I mean, very clean from Unidentified. We need to say 8-bit, bring the fight to them, and that's what they're doing with Mutant Gun, switching over to the Brigitte.
Good Dragon Blade here from Squishy as he just cleans off the rooftop, which can be used quite nicely, getting control of that high ground. And here he goes, he's looking for Fakey once again. But it doesn't really matter because 8-bit have pushed quite aggressively onto the payload.
I mean, I'm not too sure about how well this push is going to work for them. Sponge dealing with a lot of the players on his own. And Squishy is able to follow up very nicely on it as well.
Yeah, it's good work. They left a bit too many players in their backline when they pushed onto the payload, and that exposed obviously their backline as what would happen. And now it's just a mega, and I'm sure they gonna be looking for that stagger, and they do get it in the end. 5 ultimates now for Unidentified, or they're about to have 5.
Yeah, moving over to this, I mean, this could possibly be 6. I mean, D.Va can gain the ultimates quite quickly. Nice to see Fakey switching over to the Zarya, knowing that there might be more value from this.
I apologize for the storm in the background.
It's not a problem, it adds some effect to this Dragon Blade.
To the fight that's about to happen. Mike Lady with a good transcendence there, just making sure that the team does stay alive. Could have probably held on to it a bit longer, but in the end it worked out. Still got 3 ultimates left, and 3 very dangerous ultimates here. Good EMP, good spell the doom of 8-bit Oddity.
Ooh, I'm worried for 8-bit Oddity about what this EMP is going to be able to do to them, but I'm very excited to see what Sponge does for Unidentified. And Oh my word, I wish I was watching that one. Just completely melted Mutant Gun.
Once you get Lucio off the wall, it's very easy to just gun him down. He's not actually that fast without his abilities.
And not as fast as you would expect for him to be. Sponge hopefully looking for something interesting here. Although, getting removed from stealth.
Yeah, now it's just being focused down by Omega as 8-bit is setting up to try and get that.
Oh my word.
Just gonna go swing that hammer. Try get rid of Squishy. He's a bit of a danger on this Doom. Doom plus Reaper. And in the end, he actually comes out on top using his phase walk quite nicely to get out of danger space. Primal Rage from Shapeshifter. Just gonna bash around these supports now, and Fakey needs to find a way to get that charge up fast so that they can get a good Graviton Surge off. else unID's attack is not gonna be slowed.
I like seeing the Reaper coming in from Squishy. He's doing a lot of work with it, able to shred down any sort of armor and, well, HP pull, sustain, just shredding through the side of 8-bit Oddity. Not needs to start finding targets. He's probably their best hope to counter the Reaper here. Oh, here's the combo you're talking about.
And the self-destruct lands perfectly. Well played there by Sponge, and that's just going to be an absolute massacre now. Not won't be able to survive for long at all, and then this is going to be at 3 points on the board for unIdentified.
Very quick push as well, looking quite dominant. Having a game plan going into Route 66 as well. Seems like 8-bit possibly need to go back into the training room a bit here, to the hyperbolic training center. Get some quick gains on their Route 66 strategy.
I lost you at training center. Not gonna lie.
It's just too much. It's too much. But I do need to see 8-bit Oddity step up a little bit here. I mean, flipping sides, maybe they can match what we saw from unIdentified, but unIdentified looked very well coordinated. They had a plan and they executed it clinically. It was a clinical execution.
It is going to be 8-bit's turn to attack this though, and let's see what unID do in defense. And if they can get a full hold here, that's a great situation for unIdentified to be in. Two maps down, and not too much time expended. I know one of those players needs to leave before 9 o'clock, I believe, or 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that player would be Fakey on the side of 8-bit Oddity. He needs to be out of here by about 9 p.m, which makes things a little bit difficult for him as time is ticking. I'm quite sure 8-bit Oddity, however, do have a sub that they can bring in. We'll have to see exactly who they'll want to do it and if they're able to click heads the way that we do see Fakey. However, on defense, Sponge, Squishy, double snipers. Are we back in Season 5?
I mean, double snipers making a comeback as we start seeing less goats comps and the quad DPS coming out, but it's just a weird choice when you don't quite know that 8-bit Oddity aren't going to play a 3-tank composition, and even though they aren't, it's might not work out for them too well. Fakey getting Sponge off straight on the first headshot he gets.
I mean, having Fakey do that does dismantle, open up some space. Dizzy can get the res. Looks like needs to find something else.
Well, let's see when unIdentified decide to jump down onto this payload, if they have much effect. And there we go, not getting Squishy off. And unIdentified just looking a bit too hesitant to jump down. They have to do it soon, they have to contest. Else this payload's just not gonna stop moving. Michael Lady bought it, grenaded in a bad situation. And there we go, finally jumping down a little bit too late there. Fakey has the space to work with, gets the supports out, unIdentified forced to reset.
So I've spoken about the amount of space that unIdentified creates for their DPS lineup, but seeing what 8-bit just did right now, that applies to both sides. Not and Fakey having full room to just play out the game they want to play. I mean, all we're seeing right now on the kill feed is headshot after headshot.
Well, you know, just don't give the Widow too much space. Which you gotta shut that down.
Yeah, you want to get rid of it as soon as possible right now. Fakey or not, definitely looking like they're ahead in this battle. Dragon Strike, ready to go for the next fight. Potentially wanting to combo with Omega though, but as I said, headshots on the kill feed have kept Omega out of the fight, not really having that ultimate charge.
It's interesting to see the grab Hanzo combination, because I mean that was what, meta 3 seasons ago.
Oh,
Waiting for the grab though, just gonna early dragon strike through. Does manage to catch Michael Laley. It's a bit unfortunate for him. Good fire grenade from the Ana means that there was not a lot of health in there, but a great earth shatter for Necromonkey. Actually wasn't that great. I thought it came from Shapeshifter.
oh wow, Fakey popping off completely here.
Yeah, popping off, but unfortunately his team has fallen, and I mean you can't expect a Widow to really drop down onto the point. Michael Laley with that really good right click onto the head of Fakey himself ends Fakey's run.
Yeah, Michael Lele, we've spoken about him many times before, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon, finding headshots just as frequently as the DPS lineup.
Okay, so we got 4 ultimates unidentified for their defense, so that's going to be quite a powerful defense. Omega only sitting on that Graviton Surge with no real follow-up in terms of Dragon Strike, or more popular would be the Substruct, which they don't have a diva for.
So, Dragon Strike from Sponge. We'll have to see what he does. Not. Starting the fight though.
Shapeshifter unfortunately hits that Earth Shatter straight into the shield of Necromonkey, who is alone on the payload, however, because his team didn't survive too long. Now it's just Necromonkey trying to have a hammer battle with Shapeshifter and ends up not winning that one. Fakey running away to safety.
So looking at what Sponge was able to do there, just completely dismantle the side of 8-bit Oddity. I mean, you can't give this man the space that he needs, and that's what they're doing right now. 8-bit Oddity need to focus him down.
I think at this point 8-bit Oddity need to figure out a lot of things, and they have switched up to a straight up dive composition, which could work in their favor, but a dive with a Lucio and an Ana might not have the healing capacity required to keep Necromonkey alive. And as I say, that feed does go down. Squishy finding reason. That's a bad situation to be. 8-bit Oddity going nowhere and not going to go anywhere fast if they don't change things up.
So I can see exactly what they were going for, but oh, Fakey getting cheeky. Sponge doesn't want any of it though. So, I mean, the composition I think was the right change. However, the positioning from unIdentified is so good right now. If you jump onto one side, they have so much maneuverability in their DPS lineup, especially with the Mercy as well as the Diva. The only stationary targets are going to be the Reinhardt and the Zenyatta, and they can play around that because Zenyatta just stays by the shield. I love what they're doing here.
Why do you love what they're doing here, Cloud? Why do you love it?
Because you can't break their defense, although Fakey.
Well, not certainly gonna try. Just using these Genji abilities to dive straight into there. Unfortunately, gets pushed back. Although Fakey does get some value out of that maneuver in killing Sponge off. 5 ultimates though, so unidentified have once again the ultimate advantage, and with the hero swaps, 8-bit Oddity are left wanting.
Ultimates over on the side of unidentified. They're playing very patiently. It's very important. However, not too sure where they need to utilize it.
Oh, but not an Omega going to be trying to dive up onto that high ground. Omega gets DMX fast. Not gets out of a very hairy situation. Necromonkey and Reason trying to push this payload forwards on their own. Just trading blows here. Fire strike to fire strike between Shapeshifter and Necro results in Necro being alone on this point while Reason goes to try bring back his team. Oh, and a great Shadow finds Mutant Gun on the floor, but Shapeshifter does manage to get the kill. Almost unable to get that one. Overextended himself a bit too much. Results in his death, and 8-bit Oddity are going to be able to push this forward with some time to spare.
So that was an interesting fight. I mean, I did not expect for 8-bit Oddity to come out on top from that. Fakey getting some very early picks, but I actually expected for unidentified to come back in it, but the fight doesn't seem to be over just yet.
Yeah, looks like unidentified are willing to challenge this one out and just burn down the time as much as possible. Michael Laley transcends onto the point, allows Shapeshifter to jump back down, but Necro, Omega, Reason, Mutant Gun, they aren't going anywhere, and they looking to keep this going as long as possible. It's going to be a hard fight here for unidentified, especially with Necromonkey sitting on this Reinhardt.
So Sponge getting a lot of targets but not contesting the point at all, allowing for them to push it further, getting some more time on the clock. Bit of a missed chance there from unidentified.
I think they did exactly what they wanted to do. They stalled it out quite nicely. They got it to basically to overtime, which means that 8BitRD don't have a lot of time in this final section, which can be the most difficult, especially with the high mobility that unidentified are running.
Definitely going to be a tough one on time. Fakey's trying to find Sponge. But positioning right now could be a bit of a struggle for that of 8-Bit with the D-Mech. No more defense matrix.
I mean, the defense matrix has seen a little bit of nerf, got that cooldown, so you really do have to be timing it accurately anyway to get value out of it. And if you figured it out with Chad at the moment, spamming it down might suggest he has not. Might not have been that much of a loss. And there's the Dragon Strike, a little bit of a wasted one, trying to catch anyone on the retreat.
So over here, pushing it down to 20 seconds remaining. This is pretty good for the side of unidentified. That Dragon Strike means that they have to regroup. Not. Trying to find another position through the back. Hopefully he can take out Squishy before Squishy finds him.
Dragon Blade now. It's going to go out just trying to make this work. Oh, Michaeletti transcends, so not gets zero value from that. But it doesn't matter, Fakey.
Oh, wow.
Monkey with a great Oak Shot against Chad. It's just Sponge left, and what can he really do? He's got the Valkyrie in the sky, but Dizzy is going to die. And that's going to be pretty much it. Dragon Strike just going to clear it out. At this point, they are going to be willing to just dive onto the point, and there we go. That's exactly what happens as Shapeshifter switches up that primal range, gets a little bit angry, and just starts bashing heads left, right, and center. And unfortunately, too strong because they are able to keep 8BitRT from touching the point.
Interesting change over there. I think that Chad did a lot of work with the Wrecking Ball to make sure that they're displaced. Seeing the Reaper come out makes it nigh impossible for them to really play off the point. They have to be aware of that situation. And overall, just well played from unidentified there. 8-Bit pushing them extremely far, but not able to take it, as we do see a 2-0 lead happen here. But as everyone knows, I'm a huge advocate for the reverse sweep.
It's going to have to be quite the reverse sweep at that. Unidentified are looking a little bit better in terms of how they are playing. I think, you know, overall skill in general of the players on unidentified is just that much better than 8BitRT. Well, you do have some outstanding members. You do have Fakey really doing a good job of it, and not trying to carry and pull their team forward. It does appear that the rest of unidentified just has an edge up on everyone else.
Completely. I mean, I think something that we can look back at is the difference in placements in Comic-Con. I mean, both teams were there. However, unidentified coming out third and 8-Bit coming out rather low on the bracket there, and a lot of their roster also changing. I mean, it takes a bit of time to really adapt to having a new roster or new players in your roster, get your core 6 all of their synergy up and ready to go. But now having a sub come in,
gonna be Dovius in place of Fakey, so Dovius getting to play that DPS role that he loves quite a lot. Could be an interesting time to see if he wants to bring up that Pharah again and challenge Sponge in the sky.
Depending on what map we see here, I mean, 8-Bit Oddity getting to select it again, and it's going to be Hanamura. Not too sure about the Pharah. I mean, it works on first point. Second point can be a little bit tough, but not impossible.
Traveling to Hanamura.
All right, I can tell you what we should expect on these maps, Cloud, but at this point, no one plays what we should expect. What is this game? What is happening? So usually we obviously see some Symmetras coming out on the attack. That could be a fun one to see if we see unidentified bring out that. I don't know if you do want to see those sneaky teleports, or what are you wanting on this map, Cloud?
I mean, I'm one that is always in favor of any sort of sneaky teleport, any sort of sneaky move at all. It's definitely my favorite thing to see. But leapfrogging, not always the most reliable of things to get onto point A with. You can get there, but you're not always going to hold it the way that you want to. I can expect a little bit more of a solid composition coming out, potentially opting for snipers again on the defense. Over on the side of attack, though, you want something that's able to get onto the point quickly. Snipers not doing too much against the composition. You want something that gives you a bit of range on your healing. I mean, you want a bit of everything, really. You need a well-rounded composition. I think that's almost exactly what we see from 8-Bit Oddity right now.
Well, let's talk about... Yeah, you were just talking about 8-Bit Oddity's defense. For some reason, I thought 8-Bit was on the attack, and now I just feel a little bit dumb. It seems every time I see the Zarya Reinhardt, I think, oh, okay, we're seeing a Zen good, so we're seeing something that I know, but it's not. It's the Mei. And the Ashe, of course, the Mei can be used to great effect on this first point, though.
I think it can be great in the first point here, but they need to watch out for Sponge on the Widow here.
Oh, it's no real challenger, no Symmetra to just try to boost them forward. No Lucio. No, Michael Ellie is on the Lucio, so probably going to be looking for that Amped up to get going, get on through. Let's see what unIdentified try to do here, as they just seem to be trading blows, taking their time. Very interesting strategy, just holding this corner here, not really looking to enter at all.
Yeah, not getting the early pick over onto Sponge means that they had to back off. And then throwing up the dynamite just for it to be eaten by the defense matrix on the side of Chad makes it a little bit difficult for the defense. But here we go, they're entering through the choke.
And yeah, that's exactly what they were waiting for. Michael Ellie just pops that Amped up ability, puts the speed boost on, and they rush in. Unfortunately, get shut down quite quickly, although Squishy and Chad are doing the works. Shapeshifter finally gets in to help them out, and this is their opportunity to get onto that point. They don't really have to deal with an Ana and but Reason seems to be having a bit too fun putting some people to sleep, and then Sponge finds his head. Reason tried to be a bit too sneaky there.
So once again, something I've spoken about, patience from unIdentified. Once they get into a winning position, they're not just gun-ho ready to get onto the point like we saw from them a few times last year in the earlier legs. You can see a lot more of a mature playstyle coming out from them, and I really like seeing that change. It's good to see, and they're doing a lot of work with it here.
Oh, great Maywar separates Shapeshifter and Shadow from the rest of their team. Squishy does manage to fade in and get to some support. That's still pretty much alone. Oh, an Ana boost on Squishy means that the Beyblade is and they get shut down. Cloud, I've been waiting so long for a Beyblade to be on the It just didn't happen, but he does manage to get the Death Blossom off in the end, and they are going to be able to get at least 2 ticks out of it.
I mean, still coming out on top after being shattered there. Luckily, he wasn't shattered out of his Death Blossom.
I mean, he almost lost his life, let alone the ultimate. Good blitz here from Mutant Gun, frees a Shapeshifter, but a self-destruct. Oh, that's painful for Mutant Gun to watch there. He had Shapeshifter in his eyes, and he was about to get it, and unfortunately, just gets shut down by self-destruct, and then it was kind of just a clean-up job by unIdentified to get the 3 ticks.
So picking up that kill over onto Mutant Gun, not allowing any more of the defense from 8-Bit Oddity to get any value. 5.5 minutes left on the clock. I mean, that's pretty good to see. I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty good deficit, but I mean, on assault maps like Hanamura, partly expected sometimes. I mean, when teams are playing like this, where we do have a rather decent difference in skill based on previous results, although fights have been quite close every now and then, this can definitely happen.
Alright, I know 8-Bit Oddity love playing weird compositions. If there's any time to bring out Symmetra, Bastion, and Orisa, one of the weirdest compositions I've seen on some map in recent times, I want to see it now, Cloud.
Oh, I would absolutely love to see it, but might not be what you're getting. Don't want to hold it out on them just yet, as they do still have 30 seconds or so. Change their comp around a little bit, but looking like we're going with a Mei Widow composition over on unIdentified's defense with the Honor and the Ryan Zarya front line.
Front end could be a bit confusing in a game like Overwatch.
Sometimes you're just not even sure. Front end, front back, top left, top right.
Oh, a bit more of an aggressive defense from unIdentified.
I'm hoping to get some value out of that very early. And Necromonkey does actually take a little bit of a knock.
He's got shielded up back in action. So they're just gonna push forward nice and slowly.
Chad playing very aggressive, getting a lot of charge off of that. Projected barrier not getting too much for him though. Obvious in the sky. Feel like having the Far Mercy here could work wonders.
Well, we know Dovius is a really amazing Pharah, so when in doubt, go to what you know. And let's see if he gets any value out of this. Squishy just waiting for that ice wall.
Oh, Sponge.
But Sponge takes out not. Means that he's got a bit more space to work with, and as you can see now, 8-bit hiding a bit more, trying not to show their heads too much.
So Sponge opting for an interesting position here, wanting the highest of high grounds, potentially to level himself up with Obvious. If he can find the shot. Not quite able to though.
Again, it's a very slow attack. It's interesting that both these teams taking it a bit slower than usual. Usually you want to get on the point, but Oddity in this case don't even have the Lucio to speed boost Don. Beautiful ice wall. Necromonkey tries to get back, unable to though, and it is going to result in the death of Omega. And there we go, Squishy finally.
Wow.
Not Necro tries to. Oh, once again, Squishy's being so amazing with these ice walls. He's saving his team right now, and that's probably going to be it for Oddity. They're going to have to reset and rethink everything about what they're doing.
Yeah, I must say, Squishy, stellar player on the Mei there. Turning the tide of battle multiple times, not just in the ice walls, but also in the picks he was able to get. And I'm sorry, that being a pun with the ice he's using, it's not even a pun. I was thinking ice picks, and then that's a completely different thing.
I'm shaking my head right now. I know you can't see it. I'm doing it.
I can feel it. I can feel it, Tronok. Don't worry. 4 ultimates over on the side of unidentified though. Sponge popping the infrasight.
Yeah, 8-bit doing well here because they have switched on to a bit more mobile composition, which means the ice walls won't be as effective. So let's see what they can do with the cloud.
Discord over onto Obvious on the Pharah. Michaelele creating space. Oh my word.
He shouldn't have been there, and he got punished for it, but he managed to get a sneaky shadow right before.
Not bringing out all the guns. I'm a bit speechless. Where have you been hiding? Not. Where's your aim been?
I think he just needed the space to work with. He was being shut down quite a lot by Sponge, and once, I mean, Sponge wasn't there, Sponge kind of got dived on, he just was able to pop off.
No one can hide defense by sight.
Nice seeing a team recognize what their win con is, utilizing it very well from 8-bit Oddity, and allowing for not to do that with the space created, as you were saying, Tronok.
Yeah, well, they do have the infrasight now, so they have a bit more information. They know that unidentified are largely congregating on that balcony area, as Necromonkey just going to dive into the background, looking for the Squishy Anna, who sends Dizzy running. Oh, barrage from Obvious, unable to get much effect. Chad popping his particle barrier just in time to keep himself alive, but as it stands, it's only the 2 tanks currently defending this point, and unidentified have to get more players on there. Nano Chad with the grab, that's going to be huge, and the Mega's going to get teammates while he watches his 2 teammates fall. And that's probably going to be it for 8-bit's attack right now, as Dizzy takes out not the old lady, showing the young one how to snipe.
So Dizzy popping off with that nano over onto the side of Chad. He was already high charge. Really gave a lot of value off of that. Wow, that was a very early pick from Not, but talking about the previous fight just a little bit more, making sure that they can get the value out of it, knowing the timer for their respawns, but now in this next fight, still having the Blizzard for defense.
And we have seen Squishy use that Blizzard quite nicely, so in great positions as well. Squishy now just gonna freeze out Necromonkey though, who overextended himself a bit too much, wasn't supported by Omega. Obvious gets taken out by Michaelele, knocked out of the sky, and Squishy just freezing everyone, just showing them what South African winter might be like.
I'll let all of you know that South African winter, not too cold, but sometimes extremely chilly. Definitely ice pick worthy.
He stops Omega from being able to reset himself, gets a little bit of ice out charge, not that he needed it, having said that. Sorry, that was great. I just love that.
I wish I saw that. I saw it in the kill feed.
That was
Ooh,
great.
Shapeshifter in far too deep. Big mistake. Can be very punished for this, or it's just an opening for Sponge. Oh my word, that flick!
Dobby is trying to take on Sponge. Does get revived by his forever loyal Mercy. And there we go. Shapeshifter tries to get a great Ushred in the back line, and unfortunately Necromonkey just primal raged in, able to prevent any real follow-up. But you know what? Sponge actually just did perfectly there.
Sponge was absolutely insane there. Watching him the entire time, I could not take my eyes off of that man and his Widowmaker. I wish I had replay set up. I just want to see that headshot onto Dobvius again. It was such a crazy flick.
I saw the third person view. It was looked pretty spectacular. Emphasites out though as 8-bit Oddity try to enter onto the final point. They have to make a move now.
Omega ready with the self-destruct. Hopefully there can be some value to be taken from this.
I don't think there's going to be much value from it, just given what they have available. Squishy then pops out grab and the blizzard, and Shapeshifter goes ham with a hammer, and that's going to be it. 8-bit Oddity once again stopped in their tracks. Wow, they do have 3 ultimates though. A lot was expended by unIdentified, but it's going to be a hard fight still.
Minute 15 left on the clock. 8-bit Oddity quite scared right now. If they do not manage to get point beyond Hanamura, this is going to be a 3-0 in the favor of unIdentified, and they're going to be taking the win for this match. 3 ultimates on 8-bit. Valkyrie probably going to be popped soon once they want to initiate. Shapeshifter, however, ready on the shatter.
I wouldn't initiate the Valkyrie. It would be an interesting choice. If I see it, I will be quite surprised. Oh, Dizzy's up. No more nano boost for you.
Oh, a massive shatter.
No! That was beautifully timed by Shapeshifter. He shut down a nano Reinhardt as the shield dropped. Mutant Gun did of course pop the Valkyrie. Tries to get revived. Not able to. Just gets denied. Oh, Dobby has actually got revived, and now I don't know where unIdentified have got to, because they won that fight. They should be on the point trying to contest this out, but no one is there.
What a well orchestrated fight there. Having that ice wall come up to delay them just a little bit longer on the top left. Allow for Shapeshifter to throw out probably one of the biggest shadows of the year that we've seen just yet, to absolutely end the fight and finish off 3-0 versus Sentinel 8-bit Oddity. ATK unIdentified looking very strong once again here.
That wasn't the moment. This was actually just that grab blizzard hammer combination that works so well for Shapeshifter.
Extremely well played, I must say. ATK unIdentified looking a bit better than what we've seen performance from them before. All players showing up here. Can't really say that any of the players weren't at the same caliber. 8-bit Oddity also looking very good. A shame that Fakey did have to step out, but not taking anything away from Dobvius, who did a lot of work for the team actually.
We definitely know Dobbius can come to the party. Unfortunately, he came to the party at the end of it, when everyone is a bit too tired, as you know, as they say. When you're too tired at a party, you have to just go to sleep real suddenly.
Just not able to end it out. I mean, it's a bit of a, yeah, let's do this, we've got this, and just not quite making it, not hitting the mark. But this is where you come back stronger. I can only expect better from 8-bit Oddity. Never down, or sometimes down, but never out. They will come back, they will crack back stronger than before. But I would say that's probably going to be it from us, unless you have any other last words, Trinak.
I would say that 8-bit Oddity need to get a better understanding of how your hero comps work, how your heroes work together, and start playing a game that they can win. Because they're very much playing into unIdentified's hands here. They were playing a composition that basically relied more on individual skill. And like I said, unIdentified just have the edge on individual skill. You switch it up to, you start playing with comps where your team has to work together, and you're forcing unIdentified now to play in situations where they have to just work together as well. You're taking away individuality, and unfortunately, 8-bit just decided to keep trying to win it out with sneaky Widow picks or trying to one up the players of unidentified rather than taking them in an actual team fight.
I have to agree with you there. Not to take away, not showing up extremely well, but at the end of the day, if you have only one player that is, I wouldn't say carrying is the right word, but one player that is got the spotlight on them, they're the one that is racking up the kills and the kill feed, but the rest of your team isn't able to follow up or keep up with that pace, you're not going to be in the right situation that you need to be in. And I have to agree with you there. Playing a little bit more as a team, hopefully we'll be seeing more of that in the future.
Yeah, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, give them an opportunity to learn a little bit more about this game, and hopefully when they return, they truly do just completely steamroll their next opponents. That would be great to see. Until then, Cloud, I don't know if you are going to wrap it up because you're the dude who does the things.
I'm the wrap-up dude.
You're the wrap-up dude.
Do I get a beatbox for my wrap-up? Thank you very much for watching the stream. Okay, I'm not even going to go down there. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody. That has been me, Cloudburst, and I'm sure that has been Trinok Games doing an absolutely fantastic job on the play-by-play. Trinok, where can we find you online?
You can just check me out, Trinok Games, on Twitter, Twitch, or my YouTube channel, which doesn't do much now that we use other channels for casting on. But yeah, just Trinok Games. I'm around. He's around, guys. Make sure to give him a bit of a follow there. And of course, from me, Cloudburst Casts over on Twitter. And I mean, that's pretty much all I'm on. I mean, trying to do IG, it's very tough. But away from that, thank you once again to ATK Arena for allowing me to utilize their fantastic facility, this casting room. I'm going to end up sleeping here. It's so cozy. It's so nice. I have all the equipment I need. Galak would be too happy if you slept in her streaming room.
I think that she doesn't have a choice. Thank you very much. But enough of that. Thank you so much for watching this. It has been the VSGaming Overwatch League for 2019. This is only Leg 1, Premier Division. Competition is already hot. It can only get better from here. Good night.
Disconnected.